Trisha Paytas has finally apologized to Ethan Klein for many things, but mainly for the demise of the Frenemies podcast. So not only do we have Trisha's apology, but we also will be talking about Ethan Klein's response as well. But first thing, let's talk about Trisha's apology. In a 39-minute video released on their YouTube page, Trisha addressed their surprise departure from the show on June 9th. Pretty much since quitting the podcast, Trisha has mainly posted videos talking about either Ethan or the Frenemies fight. They spoke openly about employee wages and dubbed Ethan's behavior as being uncomfortable. Plus, Trisha also leaked a ton of private messages between the two of them. In the video, Trisha appeared to take ownership of what was being called the Pizzagate debacle, saying that the way that they expressed themselves was disrespectful and that they really apologize. In addition to that, Trisha took accountability for some of the other controversies that had plagued their relationship with Ethan, such as apologizing to Gila for calling her the C word in a heated debate. Shortly after the video was released, Ethan reacted to Trisha's apology on an episode of H3. He said that while he was happy Trisha apologized, he still needed time before he could just move on from it. He also reiterated that he accepted their apology but could not get past the fact that Trisha tried to ruin his life by disparaging his business and reputation. He said that Trisha would say whatever she wanted to just get some fans on their side. Later defending his decision to release the explosive episode because Trisha had already been talking about the situation, and so he wanted people to have the full context. Speaking more on this decision, Ethan said, "The only thing that saved me from Trisha was the fact that all of our fights were put up unedited on Frenemies. I don't want to be in a situation where it's my word versus hers." According to Ethan, Trisha's targeted actions really scared him. Moreover, he genuinely said that he wished Trisha had just called him to apologize instead of making him sit through 10 mid-roll ads to get his apology. In response, Trisha said on Twitter, "I respect and am fine with him not accepting my apology and everything he had to say, but bringing another family into it who asked not to be brought up is not fair, and this part is 100% untrue." Adding, "I stand by my apology and I respect his feelings and where he's at. I just would like to clarify I did personally apologize before the video came out. I crossed out everything to respect his privacy, but felt it was important to show the day at the top when I sent it." One thing that we should definitely hold Trisha Paytas to was this last tweet that they sent out regarding the situation. Deleted the tweets, "I do want all this to be over and I won't make any more responses on any platform regarding the situation."
Trisha Paytas has been on YouTube for over 12 years as Blonde Sundoll for MJ. She's had her second channel, Trisha Paytas, for just over 5 years. And she just came out with an ASMR YouTube channel called No Talkie Trish ASMR. She has over 6 million subscribers across all 3 channels, and she has shared 3,464 videos. And in a bunch of those videos, she hasn't been totally truthful. Trisha. If I'm being honest, I don't even know how to start this video. I feel if you're watching this video, you know that Trisha does a lot. She wants attention, any type of clout or PR, and she's admitted to that. And because she wants a lot of attention, she says a lot online. And not all of it is true. Sometimes she may say she is sharing her story, but people are catching her in lies and, you know, exposing her. At number 10, dogs don't have brains. So, 6 years ago, Trisha posted a video with the title, "Do dogs even have brains?" And she pondered the question with the fact that dogs can't talk, and then talked about her possible intuition that dogs weren't a creature of God. Questionable. And then in 2015, she had an interview with Business Insider, and then in that interview, she admitted to trolling and saying outlandish things on YouTube for clicks. So the 2 examples she gave as trolling videos were "Dogs don't have brains" and "I'm voting for Mitt Romney." So she admitted to outright lying or trolling on YouTube, and she thought dumbing herself down would get more views. And well, that video does sit at 4 million views, so maybe there's a little bit of truth to her stretching the truth to get views. I'm just saying. At number 9, lying about her job. Back in 2012, Trisha appeared on America's Got Talent as a rapper. And we're not stopping there at rapper, we will get to that later. While she was speaking quickly off beat to music in the background, rapping, her occupation then turned up on screen, and it said, "computer programmer." Are you kidding me? Can you honestly, just kudos to her for keeping a straight face after knowing that was gonna pop up, but can you even imagine her as a computer programmer? I can hear her nails clacking against the keys already. That noise, just... Anyways, after her abysmal performance, she said right away that she wasn't even a rapper, but that she was really there to meet Howard Stern. But really, Trisha, how are you gonna do Howie like that? Howie Mandel? No? Little props to him? Nothing. Okay, never mind. At number 8, we have lies about Nash. So in a video, Trish said her ex went from broke to rich and dumped her. Now the ex she was referring to in that video was Jason Nash. But the thing is, that wasn't the reason Jason dumped her. So according to what most people are saying, what did happen was she filmed an expose on his entire friend group. And we know this is true. She did multiple videos. And I don't know about you guys, but I wouldn't want anyone I was seeing to talk smack about all of my friends, let alone to the internet. At that point, it's not even talking behind someone's back as much as it's using a megaphone right behind them and shouting, "I don't like your friends." That kind of gives reason to not get back together. But let's move on to number 7, we have pregnancy. In a video from August 2017, she said that she had been pregnant. But then there was a video under a year later with Jeffree Star that she said she wasn't pregnant. Now that one came out in April 2018. In some more recent videos, she talked more about pregnancy again, but that doesn't explain the blip in that timeline. Was she lying to Jeffree Star at that point, or did she just forget that she had possibly been pregnant? Or had she even been pregnant? We don't know.
I found out I was pregnant. I'm being filmed. And I've never been pregnant. I want to.
You've never been pregnant? Oh my god.
But let's move on to number 6. We have her calling Patreon cringy. At the end of the video, as I said, I'll have a rough calculation of how much Trisha makes on Patreon, but we can guess it's not nothing. And then a while back, she called Patreon cringy. This is obviously before she had Patreon. And yeah, sure, maybe her opinions changed, but that's totally valid. But the thing is, she went a complete 180. She went from saying it's cringy to ask for money, and now she sells sexy content as one of her primary forms of income. And that's where it gets hypocritical. At least I would think.
It grossed me out because a lot of YouTubers now with the money's changing and people aren't making money, they're like jumping ship, they're going to Patreon and they donate to me. I'm like, ew, that's like gross. Like that's not why we do it.
I've heard of the Patreon, but
yeah.
I didn't know YouTubers were doing that.
But let's move on to number 5. We have gay baiting. Now, not everyone has the same experience as others when it comes to coming to terms with your sexuality and coming to know yourself more. The issue people see with Trisha when you see the comments on her videos is her history. She is known for trolling YouTube for more clicks and views, so while it's alright to come and share your side of the story, like Trisha saying this, it becomes cheapened when it's seen as a way to make money. Like, just look at her thumbnail for why I retired from being gay. She's wearing a paper bag on her head. And then also the title, retiring from being gay. At that point, I have no words. At number 4, we have her calling herself a chicken nugget. Now, I'm gonna start saying this starts out just super freaking relatable. She has a video titled, "I'm a Chicken Nugget" from December 2016. And it reminds me of that Vine. I may look like a burnt chicken nugget, but I still love myself. But Trisha, honey, what are you doing? Like, just listen to some of what she was saying. When you feel like a chicken nugget, you feel like not delicious. Well, you feel delicious, but you also feel like fried and fake on the inside. And yes, while that sounds like some fun Rupi Kaur knockoff poetry, this woman isn't a chicken nugget. Because less than a month later, she posts a video with the title, "I am not a chicken nugget," in all caps. Like, yes, no duh, Trish. Just what's happening? Are you okay? I wanna know. Please. Okay? Our blonde sundoll M4J, we'll get it someday. But let's move on to number 3. We have her lying about being broke. In the reality house, Trisha got in a bit of a tiff with Dominic DeAngelis over a bed. He said, "I want you to have the bed, just give me $300. And it got to the point where she said, "No, I don't have $300. I'm broke. I have no money." And you already see where the issue comes in this. So then later, when their fight is escalating, he yells out, "Your net worth is $2 million. And she corrects him at the same level of yelling and says that her net worth is $25 million, and then adds, "I have Patreon." And it almost continues more before she cuts off one of her sentences by covering her mouth when she sees the cameras coming in closer. It sounded like she was about to reveal how much she made on Patreon every month. I wish.
Just give me $300.
I don't have $300. I really don't.
You don't have $300. You don't have $300.
No, I'm broke.
You don't got $300.
Let's move on to number 2, the Nickocado Avocado situation. This was covered by the amazing, dazzling Potato Queen back in May, but I'll give you a little bit of a rundown just in case you missed it. Nickocado Avocado on YouTube did a cover of Trisha's song Warrior on the violin, and it took him a lot of time. So Trisha commented on the video that she had loved him for so long, such a long time, such a big fan, and she found his video in her subscriptions. She said, "Aw, need to get together in person" on January 9th, 2017. And then she tweets at him, "Babe, where do you live? We need to do a collab, my love, ASAP. Your cover brought me to tears. DM me." So at this point, this was the start of the conversation over DMs where he said he would fly to Colombia to see her and meet up. They were talking about next week and he was saying the best flight deal was Tuesday the 17th, 8 days later, and they basically had a timeline down. And the last thing he said is, "Oh my god, this is legit happening," but it never did. She failed and then began to talk horribly about him online, implying that he was some sort of stalker, and she had been saying that she never said or implied that he should come out. But Trish, he has the receipts. He has the literal conversations, he was holding them up in that, so that was a huge lie that she was wrapped up in. But let's go on, last but not least, to number 1, lying about making money off her video titled I am transgender. So in an interview with H3H3, Trisha says that she didn't make any money off the video. Her first claim is that YouTube doesn't monetize LGBTQ+ videos, and this is true. More often than not, including LGBTQ+ terms in video titles leads to demonetization. The algorithm flags it as a bad term and the video is done for money-wise. But that doesn't happen all the time. Ethan Klein of H3H3 brings up that he got 2 ads on the video when he watched it, and if you get ads, there's monetization happening. But Trisha insisted that she set it to not be monetized, saying it again and again that she is willing and to show her accounts and everything. So Ethan gets her to download the YouTube Creator app and they see it is monetized. It has the yellow $sign going that says it's kind of iffy but gets money, and at that point the video had made $8,000. So from that video, she earned $8,000 when she said she had demonetized it. Does she just not know where her money is coming from? Or is she playing ignorant? I do not know. But that is the end of the top 10, but talking about money, let's analyze her Patreon. I lurked it, so you don't have to. Let's remember that I calculated how many are paying at each tier with likes, who liked her posts, because that's all I can see without paying for myself because I don't want to. I'm choosing to assume that people don't like every post. So with that in mind, know that my final number will be a rough number and probably on the low end. So at the $50 range, there were at least 18 patrons, which equals $900, and then at the $10 range, about 31, so $310, and then at the $5 range, about 70, so $350. These are all low numbers, remember that. And then the remaining number of patrons was 2,513, so that's the rest of the amount at the $1 patron level. Altogether, that is $4,073 per month, bare minimum. And my desk buddy says it's probably more like $20,000 per month.
Trisha Paytas really knows how to get the people talking. It's no secret that she's known for being controversial and in the past has both said and done things that have made headlines. Usually she's making headlines for all the wrong reasons, and it seems today's video isn't any different. Back in March, while appearing on H3H3's podcast, Trisha claimed she didn't know the pyramids in Egypt exist. In fact, she didn't even know Egypt was a country, and as she put it, I quote, "I knew there were Egyptians, I just didn't know they were from Egypt." While appearing on H3H3's podcast, which is hosted by Ethan and Hila Klein, Trisha, who's been on the show, or at least a topic of discussion more times than I can remember, said some pretty wacky stuff. She was on the podcast as part of a mock bachelorette type show where people film themselves eating and told Trisha why they make a good match together. The H3H3 team then reviewed some of the submissions with Trisha, and when they got to a man who claimed to be Egyptian, well,
I'm 100% Egyptian.
Oh, he's Egyptian.
And
Where is that?
Now, after a few more comments were made, Trisha would eventually admit that she thought Egypt was a made-up place, prompting Ethan of H3H3 to pause the man's submission tape. From this point on, Trisha would question whether or not Cleopatra was real, as well as if pyramids were real, then asking if any of the wonders of the world actually exist altogether. After pulling up photos of Egypt and pyramids on Google, Trisha genuinely seems in awe of how beautiful the landscape really is. Over the course of this specific segment of the podcast, to no surprise, Trisha would say a lot of things that simply just made me ask, is this all an act? Or is she genuinely this far out of touch from the real world? When Ethan asked her how it would be possible for there to be Egyptian people without Egypt existing, her response was, like Jewish people. There's no Jew land. Do you know what I mean? To which Ethan immediately stops her with one word, Israel. Trisha then tries to explain how she thought Egyptians were possibly a name to describe people from a different country or city, specifically referring to Abu Dhabi. Now, it's no surprise Trisha is saying something that's going to get the people talking. She's known for making content, or at least being controversial by saying or doing things she knows will get a reaction. Examples of this would be when she claimed to be transgender, or most recently when she made a video in which she told people she has dissociative identity disorder. Safe to say Trisha is going to continue playing into this character of hers. I really do think it's an act because I genuinely don't think Trisha wholeheartedly believes half the stuff she says.
Trisha Paytas just publicly ended her friendship with Shane Dawson, Jeffree Star, and Rylan Adams, and she's exposing tons of stuff about Shane and Jeffree along the way, making the two of them look even worse online, if that was even possible. This whole thing actually started way back in early 2020 when Tab David, a former friend of Jeffree's, exposed that on a trip, Jeffree and his friend spoke badly about someone else on that trip, and Jeffree insulted this friend on the trip's weight, skin, and past drug use behind their back. leading everyone to assume Trisha was the person that he was talking about. Then fast forward to now, one of Jeffree's best friends and hairstylist, Hair by Jay, decided to address it all on Instagram Live. But he said some straight up disgusting things about Trisha in an effort to defend Jeffree, with him saying things like, quote, "How are you going to talk about a person after you got in a private jet? You didn't spend a dime. Your effing room was paid for. You were such a boring time," he said in the live. Then going on to admit that they all talked badly about Trisha, adding, quote, "We talked about your skin. Your effing skin looks like a whole year later," going on to call her a walrus and telling her to go on a diet. So obviously very, very disgusting things. Then after that, Trisha made a YouTube video called, quote, "Why I'm Scared of Jeffree" and Hair by Jay. In the video, Trisha shows the worst parts of the Instagram Live while crying and talks about how badly everyone on that trip made her feel, referring to them all as mean girls and doing things to make her feel bad. With Trisha also adding that the body shaming was not just behind her back, but also to her face. And at one point on the trip, Jeffree slapped a nacho out of her hand and told her not to eat anymore. In the video, she also said that Jay doxed her by leaking her phone number and the name of her business. After Jeffree was thrown into the mix, he responded to the backlash on Twitter, writing, quote, "I've personally apologized to Trisha Paytas several times last year about Vegas and she never responded, which is her right. I respected it and what happened is between us. Don't drag me into new drama, not interested. What someone else says does not represent me." Trisha clapped back, saying, quote, "If you didn't want to be involved in the drama, why is he speaking your name in the video on your behalf, confirming all the horrid shit you guys said about me?" Then Jeffree responded back to that, quote, "You've ignored all my messages and texts for months, yet you want to have an internet circus with an audience. No thank you. Love you, girl. You can call or text me anytime." But Trisha then decided to take to her TikTok and start blasting Jeffree on there, responding to tons of messages from fans on the status of her relationship with them. It ended with Trisha making a TikTok that she was no longer going to be friends with Shane or Jeffree after all this, which was very shocking because I think that was the first time that Trisha ever went publicly against Shane. Like, literally ever. I can't think of one other time. Trisha then made another YouTube video called, quote, "I just want to move on." And in that video, Trisha spills even more tea, specifically about Shane and Jeffree's relationship, with Trisha saying that she has always had tension with Jeffree, but Shane always defended Jeffree and told her to not make videos on him. Then Trisha revealed that Shane even said at some points that he was even scared of Jeffree and that Shane was planning on distancing himself from Jeffree in the future, but that obviously did not happen, adding that Jeffree is a vile and evil person and she cannot support anyone that supports him. Trisha then decided to make the ending of her friendship with Rylan and Shane clear by blocking both of them on social media. And when people assumed that they had unfollowed her, Trisha came back online and set the record straight that she cut the ties with them. Jeffree then decided to deal with the criticism against him by cutting ties with Jay, saying in a tweet, quote, "Good morning to everyone except the guy that used to do my hair," with Jeffree going on to say that he holds everyone around him accountable for their actions. The last bit of tea that was spilled was relating all the way back to Trisha's scandal with Gabby Hanna. And if you remember, that all happened because someone told Gabby that Trisha had herpes, and then Gabby told Jason Nash to protect him. And Trisha revealed in her video that the person that told Gabby that she had herpes was none other than Shane Dawson. But really, are we really surprised? Shane is the only person that would have that information. And Trisha claimed that that also was a lie, so Shane was spreading lies about Trisha to other people. Trisha Paytas has been in the news a ton recently because of her feud with the D'Amelio sisters and James Charles. But it seems that fight might be catching up with her because she was the latest person involved in a Twitter death hoax, and I would assume that one of those fandoms is responsible. Okay, so on the night of November 30th, hashtag RIP Trisha and hashtag RIP Trisha Paytas started trending. And naturally, everyone was wondering if she had actually passed away and why people thought that she had. Fans started tweeting Trisha like crazy, hoping for a response. But when she stayed silent on her socials, people were starting to get really worried. Apparently, this all started because a small blogging site posted that the 32-year-old YouTuber had been involved in a bad car accident, and that TMZ reported that Trisha had passed away. But obviously, that was not true, because the news was nowhere on TMZ's page or social media accounts. And Trisha ended up clearing everything up when she tweeted out, quote, "Oh shit, Twitter thought I was dead? Yikes, I'm alive." And then the Twitter hashtag description was updated to include, "No, Trisha Paytas is not dead." But of course, after the news that she was actually fine, people started memeing the situation like they always do, with people sharing this alleged DM they received from Trisha, with her saying that her lawyers would be in contact because people were falsely claiming that she was dead. but I'm pretty confident that's either fake or from a different time. People even put up a fake tweet from James Charles, with it saying that his mood got way better after he learned that Trisha had potentially passed away, obviously hinting at all their recent drama. Then some other social media stars shared their shocking reactions, like Dominic Angelis, who was her frenemy on The Reality House. And then people, of course, were joking in support of the accident if it happened, because people online are incredibly savage. And it's good to see that nothing is wrong with Trisha and that she's totally fine. Honestly, I also can't wait for a podcast with H3 frenemies so I can get the full scoop on what went down. But I guess that is a warning that if you mess with massive creators like the D'Amelios and James Charles, their millions of fans might mess with you a little bit.
I have never, ever in my life, truly in my heart, felt someone needed psychological help the way Gabby Hanna needs help. Hi! Just watch your drama alert.
Trisha Paytas and Gabby Hanna have been feuding for what feels like a decade at this point, and a lot of people online are wondering how we got here and why these women seem to be getting more and more hostile towards each other as time goes on. So this all started back in November of 2019 when Trisha uploaded a video as a response to an Instagram story that Gabby made. In the Instagram story, Gabby asked her Instagram followers if it was wrong to tell a friend that the person that they were in a sexual relationship with had a quote incurable STD, if you were pretty sure that they had one. Since Trisha knew this situation was about her, Trisha made an explosive video called Why I Don't Trust Gabby Hanna. In the video, Trisha exposed that Gabby told Trisha's ex, Jason Nash, that Trisha had herpes, with Trisha saying that she doesn't, and it's terrible that Gabby would spread a rumor like that when it has literally nothing to do with her. With Gabby responding that she only told Jason because she wanted to protect her friend, and it wasn't gossiping because she only told Jason. Then Gabby DiMartino got involved, because in another video, Trisha called out DiMartino for telling Gabby Hanna that she didn't like her, when that wasn't true, and Gabby DiMartino apparently just said that to shut Gabby Hanna up. After that, Gabby Hanna berated Trisha with texts. So I know all the Gabbys are confusing. I'm confused too. Then when all this was going down, a fan tweeted out something very shady towards Gabby, saying, quote, I think a lot of people forget or don't know that Gabby Hanna chose a bad man over her then best friend, who was the victim, Deanna said, referring to Jessie Smiles and her ex, Curtis Lepore. After this, Gabby decided to make the terrible decision to DM this fan about that tweet and set the record straight that she never supported Curtis after the allegations, even urging her to find tweets that proved it. After a lot of back and forth between them in the DMs, Deanna was convinced that she was mistaken and made a public apology to Gabby Hanna. But then Jessie Smiles got involved by making her own explosive video, calling Gabby a gaslighter and a liar, and also calling her out for sharing private details of her life with that fan. Then in the midst of all this, Gabby was called out again for DMing another underage fan, which again is like just super out of line. But Trisha wasn't involved much in this, but would tweet out in support of Jessie and these fans that Gabby was DMing with frequently. But then something really bad with Gabby happened, and that was when she made a video about e-girls and included a girl that lost her life because of a man taking it, and that of course upset tons of people who found it completely insensitive for her to include her in that video, with Trisha making a whole video against Gabby after this incident happened. Gabby ended up profusely apologizing for this, saying it was a complete misunderstanding, and after she really broke it down, a lot of people did end up taking her side and understanding why she was included in the video. Then after some more drama happened between Gabby and Jessie, Gabby got in some more drama with YouTube, calling them out for promoting drama channels and shadow banning her channels for all the drama she was involved in. After many videos that showed that Gabby looked to be having somewhat of a breakdown, many, including Trisha, urged her to get some professional help and get off the internet for a long time. And she did, with Gabby leaving YouTube for about 2.5 months, which I don't think is enough time at all, but that's a whole other story. Gabby came back to YouTube with a long video clarifying a lot of things about the reason she left, and saying she wants to come back to a nice, happy place and doesn't want to be involved in any drama anymore. And remember that because it's going to be relevant in a second. But she contradicted herself quite a bit near the end of that video, when she said she was going to be releasing a single soon, and it would be about Trisha Paytas. Then Gabby went on Drama Alert and had an interview with Keemstar where it was a little more shady, and she said it's quote kind of a diss track, which like Gabby, like why? Like Trisha is the last person that you want to get in beef with, because she will, like, she does not let anything slide. She will make 45,000 videos about you. Like, hasn't she learned her lesson about getting involved with Trisha by now? But I digress. So Trisha obviously fired back on all of her platforms, making a video about her called Gabby Hanna Leave Me Alone. You're effing creepy as hell. In the video, she calls Gabby straight up psycho, saying she needs help badly, and that Trisha is genuinely afraid of her because of how obsessed Gabby is with her. Then she tweeted out that she just wants to be left alone and to go to a psych ward after she releases her shitty song. Gabby then responded back to this saying, quote, I guess I just got confused because in June of 2019 you said you'd be honored if I wrote a song for you and called me a lyrical genius. But I really think you'll love the song and feel it embodies you in a really powerful way. Let me know if you want to see the video. I'm posting it tomorrow first. I'll send it. So here Gabby is clarifying that the song isn't actually hate, it's just a song about her? Okay. Like, why? But okay. Then Gabby posted a video to her channel about the song, talking about how excited she was to release it. In summary, just saying she was inspired by the feud with Trisha, and all the lyrics will be about things that were in public. But all the comments were calling out Gabby for taking this like way too far. Like, why drag this out even further when you said you didn't want to be involved in drama? Like, does A plus B equal C or what? So now it seems this has all ended with Gabby posting an incredibly long and small texted apology note onto her YouTube channel, which I've personally never seen before. I guess that's her way of maybe making some money off this, I don't really know. And the very brief summary is that she knows she's wrong, but it's hard to hear people talk about her and never be able to defend herself without it being her starting drama. Then saying that she processes stuff really slowly and she needs to be okay with people not knowing her side of the story. Then saying her words have not aligned with her actions and she knows that. So she's gonna make a real change.
Yeah, there we go. First we're starting off with No! It's not racist, that's like the sounds I hear when they talk.
No, it's not racist as long as I keep saying no.
Oh, okay. We're doing
So I know we've been talking about the Dramageddon 2 stuff a lot lately, but believe it or not, there's still other drama going on in the world. And some of it is involving the Vlog Squad not taking accountability for problematic posts. So you might not have heard about it because of all the other noise on the internet lately, but David Dobrik and Liza Koshy were recently called out for racially insensitive jokes that the two made in some of their past videos, specifically against Asian people, as well as past racially insensitive and homophobic tweets from both of them. And to be honest, if it was dealing with any other YouTubers, I believe it would have gotten a lot more traction. But because they are both so beloved on the internet, it didn't really become that big of a story. But it did become big enough for Liza to end up posting an apology for her actions on her Twitter. But I do have to say the apology felt pretty professional and kind of written by a PR person, so a lot of people felt that it was very ingenuine of her and felt kind of out of touch. But anyway, people were still praising her for saying something when David said nothing at all. And when this story started picking up steam is about the same time Trisha decided to get involved, making 2 videos on the topic, where she calls out the Vlog Squad for being problematic, while also never actually addressing their issues and just basically getting a pass for their past actions. But since Trisha has brought a lot more light to the situation, we've seen other Vlog Squad members apologizing for past racially insensitive actions as well, like Kristen McAtee that apologized for turning one of the pieces of her hair into a dreadlock. But as always, there is a tiny bit of a conspiracy going around as to why Trisha would decide to do all this now, in the midst of 2 of her best friends, Shane and Jeffree, getting completely cancelled on the internet, especially because Shane in part was being cancelled for being Trisha's friend. And some people are saying she's doing all this as a deflection to the situation, and to potentially put some heat on the Vlog Squad to take it off Shane. There are even some people saying that they believe Jeffree encouraged or even paid her to make the videos, now that Blair White has made a video condemning him. But getting back to the root of the situation, what do we think about the Vlog Squad here? Because back in the day, their videos were definitely harmful to the LGBTQ community, as well as other racial minority groups, and it seems like no one ever really calls them out. Even after Seth Francois made a whole video on how he felt racially isolated from the rest of the group when he was in it, they still really weren't called out for it.
Trisha Paytas has gone all the way off on Twitter, and it seems she is now turning on Jeffree Star. It's a bit confusing because she previously stood up for him with regards to the rumors that Jeffree was talking badly about her behind her back. So why now? Why has Trisha had a change of heart? In a previous video, I told you guys that Jeffree Star was exposed by his former friend Tab David, who said in a video that Jeffree was talking badly about Trisha while they were in Vegas together. He didn't explicitly name Trisha directly, but everyone figured it out because the trip was during Valentine's Day of 2020, and Trisha was in Vegas at the time and she went home early. Like I said, Trisha ended up leaving the Vegas trip early because Jeffree was also allegedly making her feel badly about herself. Trisha took to Twitter to squash any claims that Jeffree wasn't a good good friend to her. She stuck up for him and said they were tight. Which is a pretty bold thing to do, especially considering that, you know, everybody hates Jeffree Star and everybody hates Trisha, and she knows that everybody hates her, and she did it anyway. She quote tweeted a deleted tweet by Jeffree Star. I'm not sure what the tweet said, I wasn't able to get a screenshot of it, but Trisha tweeted this. It's getting annoying. There's so many lies on so many topics about me lately. I can't keep up, nor do I want to. I go by people's actions on how they treat me, not by what the internet runs with. People just want reactions, I'm so over it. Let me just eat and blank in peace. Again, I can only say what I experienced, hear, see. Everyone on that trip was nothing but kind and wonderful to me. Over the top so. I have a vlog where I'm in tears over what a great time I had. I don't know what else to say. That's kinda awkward, cause she's now seeming to confirm that Jeffree made fun of her weight, skin, and drug use behind her back. So why this change of heart? Well, a lot of people think that it could be because Jeffree seems to be unbothered by what's going on with his supposed best friend Shane Dawson. He's been seen buying new cars, hanging out in pools, taking pictures with fans, yet he won't address the situation publicly. Trisha, on the other hand, knows the internet hates her and she's still sticking up for Shane Dawson. I mean, say what you want about Shane Dawson, say what you want about Trisha, but she's throwing herself under the bus in order to stick up for her friend. Now that Jeffree isn't sticking up for his friend the way that Trisha is, it seems that Trisha might be jumping off the Jeffree Star ship. Here are her tweets. If you talk about me behind my back, maybe don't leave it in a voice memo. That is clue number 1 that it was Jeffree. What is with Jeffree and voice notes? The guy doesn't want anything in writing? This is how Jeffree Star allegedly keeps blackmail on other people. I bet the guy has a folder full of blackmail. So Trisha is implying that there is a voice memo, allegedly, of Jeffree Star talking badly about her behind her back. She added, you know who can talk about my drug use? Me. You wanna know who can't talk about my drug use? Everyone else. Especially when I haven't used since December. It's gross and you're evil as shit. So beyond past my limit. I tried taking the high road, but F it. YouTube ain't my career now anyway, so come for me. Ruin me. Whatever, I'm gonna say some shit. Go off, sis? Okay. Allow me to pull up a chair, grab my potato chips, and get comfy. There ain't no chairs in here. And also I'll be out of frame if I sit in a chair.
Controversial YouTuber and internet personality Trisha Paytas recently had her main Instagram account suddenly disappear. At first she had believed that it had only been disabled, but later in a TikTok post the influencer alluded to her account being completely deleted. Trisha Paytas joined YouTube back in 2007 and still posts to her main channel where she has accumulated around 4.8 million subscribers. Over the years she has become well known for her regular involvement in any drama happening online. Additionally, she has also gained a significant following on other platforms. She boasts around 685,000 Twitter followers and around 3.8 million followers on TikTok. When OnlyFans started to also become a bigger social platform, Trisha made the move over to them as well. However, some social media sites have very strict rules when it comes to promoting websites such as OnlyFans. The subscription-based platform has mostly been a place for sex workers to sell erotic content. Due to this origin of the platform, it naturally has built a salacious reputation with other social media companies. Now it's important to note that OnlyFans is not just for erotic content, it has just become largely associated with it. Many people turned to the platform when the pandemic started as a way of supplementing their income. Although now Paytas seems to be having more problems with her other accounts due to her own association to companies deemed unsavory. Initially, Trisha told her fans via TikTok that her main account had been disabled and that she was notified that it would remain this way for 30 days. Then in another TikTok video, she directed people to follow her backup account because she had some major upcoming announcements to make. Currently, her backup account is sitting at around 108,000 followers, which is just absolutely wild for a backup account. On her backup page, she had made another post about what Instagram had done to her original account and said, "My main Instagram account at Trisha Paytas is disabled for 30 days, but I have big announcements this week, so please follow and share this profile. Thank you, and if anyone has an IG contact or support, would greatly appreciate help trying to get my main account at Trisha Paytas back." She then used this account again to post another photo, pleading for Instagram to give her original account back. In the post she writes, "Dear Santa, all I want for Christmas is my main Instagram account at Trisha Paytas to come back. I promise I'll be good." And then a few days later, Trisha posted a video to her YouTube page titled Urgent.
You know, worker promoting OnlyFans, or even maybe if you're just a sex worker in general, they're deleting your account, which really sucks because, like, I'm more than happy to just not promote.
Now, a lot of people in her comment section on this video were not so sympathetic towards Trisha. She says in this video that she understood how strict Instagram had become with promoting OnlyFans, then in the next breath she talks about still trying to promote it. One user commented, "Trisha Paytas, I received warnings not to promote OnlyFans on Insta. Also Trisha Paytas, I'm gonna promote OnlyFans today on IG. I don't think they'll be that strict. Insta. Merry Christmas, Trisha." Now there is also another reason that she could have had her account banned, and Trisha sort of alluded to this but kind of glossed over it really fast, so I don't think a lot of people picked up on it. She says in that video on her YouTube page, "I was confused because I got some warnings. Obviously like don't promote OnlyFans, so I took it out of my bio. I didn't put it in descriptions. I really wasn't doing swipe up link promotions at all. I have gotten the warnings." She then goes on to say, "I think I posted something about Adam and Eve and my discount code and it was disabled when I logged in." Now, Adam and Eve is a retailer that sells, hold on, I don't want to get demonetized here. They sell toys for adults? Yeah, let's go with that. So she promoted her discount code for this website, and this is definitely a good reason for Instagram to remove her account. Many people don't realize this, but Instagram recently updated their terms of use page, and as a result they became much more strict with content. Alicia Mira alluded to this being the reason for Trisha losing her account and tweeted saying, "Dear Trisha Paytas, I'm so sorry you've lost your IG. This is due to the unfair censorship and direct targeting of SWs on IG. Please, please, please speak about this. We need your voice to make a change. So many SWs are losing their accounts due to IG new rules from the 20th December. Instagram itself had tweeted about the recent changes, and in 2 separate tweets they said, "We're seeing some confusion that our terms of use updated is targeted at sex workers. We want to reassure our community that this isn't true, and nothing will change about the way we enforce our policies on December 20th. Adding, "We made some changes to our terms to make them easier to understand. For example, we're providing clearer language on how we use data to personalize ads." You can find them here and they apply to everyone on Instagram. Now Instagram got a ton of backlash for this from the SW community. No one is convinced that they are not being targeted, and many in the community are arguing that creators such as Bella Thorne, for example, have been able to still promote their OnlyFans with no issues. Yet everyone that is not within that top 3% of high earning creators has to suffer. I'm not a huge fan of Trisha Paytas, but I also think that her Instagram account shouldn't have been deleted randomly like that with no explanation. I mean, they gave her an explanation, but it was very, what's the word I'm looking for, Chris? Generic? Yeah. Lackluster, not really telling you where you went wrong, and that's a big problem that I have with so many social media companies is they'll just ban you or they'll delete your account and then they'll be like, you violated this terms of service, and it'll have like a million things within it that could have applied to you, but again, there's no person giving you a straight answer. So I understand that she's upset here.
So Trisha is someone that we have talked about on the channel before, because she's involved in so much drama that she's almost impossible to avoid if you're covering YouTube news whatsoever. But here on the channel today, instead of just covering the latest drama that Trisha has been involved in, we wanted to give a different take on things and basically plead with the internet to just stop giving her attention already. So I think it's impossible for the average YouTube watcher to not know who Trisha Paytas is, as she's basically infamous for being the most dramatic person on the internet. With her being involved in so much drama, we could make a whole video on it. But good news is we actually did do that a while back, so check that out if you want to see it. But with all the cancellations that she's had recently, it seems that a lot of drama channels that I follow are actually getting to the point where they're not even covering her drama anymore, because they just don't want to enable her behavior and give her the attention that she so desperately wants. So Trisha has made it pretty clear in the past that she's had a rough childhood, and all her trauma that she's endured in her younger years is what has caused her to struggle with a lot of mental health issues that she struggles with to this day. And as we all know, the internet is generally pretty understanding and forgiving when it comes to mental health. And this is, I think, in part the reason that she's been forgiven so much in the past for all her scandals. But people are really starting to see through all this, with people concluding that Trish just says crazy stuff and trolls the internet with things she knows are controversial for attention. And this assumption is pretty accurate, as Trish has come out before admitting that she's a huge troll, and a lot of what she does is just jokes that she uses for attention. But it's getting to the point now where the stuff she's trolling with is becoming harmful to groups that are stereotyped and misunderstood to the everyday person. As well, she often calls out people on her channel and bashes them for doing even the smallest thing against her, which is something that YouTube shouldn't be letting happen in my opinion. This, along with tons of other reasons, is why there's also a new petition going around asking people to sign so that she can get kicked off YouTube. Currently it has over 67,000 signatures. Just to touch on some of the main scandals that she's been in where she's accused of being harmful to groups, one is when she came out as trans, but her logic was called out by a lot of people in the community, as she stated that she feels that she's a man but is fine with her outward appearance being feminine. And people were calling her out, saying that if she was really trans, she would have an unshakable desire to change her appearance to masculine so she could be her true self. And people were also saying this logic is harmful and invalidates the millions of people that are actually struggling with their gender identity, and it gives the public even more fuel to hate on the trans community if they use Trisha as a spokesperson. But her latest scandal has to do with dissociative identity disorder, or DID. a disorder once known as multiple personality disorder that forms in early childhood in response to repeated trauma. So after she uploaded a video called Meet My Alters, she got swift backlash from a ton of people online. She stated in the video, quote, "Honestly, I've never been diagnosed with anything. The closest thing that I have is self-diagnosed myself with, I guess, is multiple personality disorder or dissociative identity disorder." So here she's admitted that no one with any sort of qualifications told her this, and she's diagnosed herself with DID. People in the comments of that video lost it, saying things like, quote, "We need to report this video, y'all, absolutely disgusting, she's trying to profit off this," and "You need to stop spreading misinformation and self-diagnosing," and "Wish I could dislike this more than once. Calling people with childhood trauma crazy is disgusting," another said. Then YouTuber Anthony Padilla, who recently posted a video in which he interviewed people with DID, took to his Instagram story to hint that Trisha is trash, and then adding, quote, "Claiming you have DID is not a cool excuse to mock people in the community and call them crazy," he captioned the video. And then a YouTuber called Dissociative DID also made a response video, where she educates people on all the false claims Trisha makes in her video, and calls Trisha out for being harmful to the community, by undoing all the work that she has done to educate people on the disorder. So yeah, it seems like Trisha is not gonna stop making videos like this anytime soon, where she comments on something that she knows is a controversial issue, just so that she can get press off it. And even Charlotte and I were really conflicted as to whether we should even make a video on her at all to do with the recent scandal, because again, we didn't want to just cover her drama and just give her more press. So that's why on this channel going forward, we're not really going to cover her whatsoever unless we think it's regarding a topic that you guys just absolutely need to know for some reason. Because honestly, she just seems to be pretty toxic, and like she's just bringing down the YouTube community with all the drama she's caused between her and other people. And then with the image that she's putting out there of what being a YouTuber is. And most of Twitter agrees with this, with tons of people begging YouTube to delete her channel for spreading misinformation and just being offensive to tons of minority groups.
In a now deleted 19-minute video called Why David Dobrik is a Horrible Human Being, Trisha Paytas attempts to dramatically expose David Dobrik as well as her ex-boyfriend Jason Nash and the Vlog Squad. The video was seen by a lot of people before it was deleted, and fans downloaded the video and re-uploaded it. So what exactly did Trisha say? I'm gonna spill this tea right now. Another day, another tearful Trisha Paytas video. But this one was different from the others because Trisha basically drags the entire Vlog Squad, a group of people who seemed like her friends. It's also a pretty controversial video because David Dobrik also seems like this really happy, positive person who stayed out of drama even though he's extremely popular. Yet Trisha was saying that his persona is just a front for who David really is. Now, I don't know David personally, so I'm not gonna say any of these accusations are true or not. I'm just gonna relay to you what Trisha said. Basically, in her exposing video, she addresses a vlog where Jason says that he would buy David a Ferrari if he could set up a threesome with him, Tana Mongeau, and Trisha. The vlog then cuts to present day when David Dobrik invites Tana Mongeau to his house and asks, "Will you have a threesome with Jason and Trisha?" David then laughs and his vlog ends. In another vlog that was posted to David's channel on February 2nd, David, Jason, and Tana are seen sitting in a car. Tana asks Jason why he wants to sleep with her, and David says because he likes broken girls. This joke was obviously directed at Trisha, who is not with them at the time. This vlog has since been deleted from David's channel. Trisha claims that David purposefully made this joke because he knew that it would get a reaction from Trisha, which leads me to believe that maybe this whole feud could be for views, and it's not true. The idea of Jason and Tana hooking up seems to go back a while. Trisha also said that Jason and Tana went on a date for a vlog, and Jason tried to kiss Tana, but Tana pulled away. Jason claimed the kiss was for the video. Trisha has told both David and Jason Nash in the past that she's very insecure about this joke. She hates cheating, she hates the idea of having a threesome with her boyfriend and a 20-year-old girl. Yet they kept making jokes about this idea of a threesome between them. Trisha calls David a horrible person and later compares him to serial killer Ted Bundy, which is like, I feel like a step too far. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't personally know David, but to compare anyone to a serial killer like Ted Bundy is a pretty brash accusation. But this isn't all the tea that Trisha spilled. Oh no, there's more. Brandon Cavillo was also exposed because he was allegedly dating a 17-year-old girl. Brandon is 24. Brandon responded to this accusation with a statement on Twitter. "I just wanted to clear some comments that were made regarding me today, and some assumptions that I've been getting for a while now. My girlfriend is currently 18 and we started dating when she was 18. She's about to turn 19. To be clear, we never dated when she was 17. Please be mindful of how hurtful and damaging your words can be. Thank you. The response was, people started looking into it. Don't you just love the internet? And they found a vlog. So the girl's name is Lacey. She said she was 18-19. She was born in March of 2000, and the vlog was uploaded in February. The truth actually was she was 17 and turning 18, and they had been seeing each other for several months. Brandon then started deleting pictures of Lacey. He also deleted his statement because people were exposing him in the comments below. In the later half of the video, Trisha goes into intimate details about her ex-boyfriend Jason's private life. She talks about his kids as well, but I'm not really going to go into any detail about that because I don't think that's fair. They are kids after all. If you want to watch the video for yourself, there are versions of it online where you can hear what Trisha says about it herself. I have a feeling that this particular part of the video might have been the reason why she took it off her channel. Trisha's video had a lot of polarizing responses. On the one hand, people believed her, and on the other, people said she was a hypocrite. Trisha has previously said that she would be intimate with David, and she said these things in front of Jason, so it's like, why is she allowed to talk about being intimate with someone other than her boyfriend when Jason isn't allowed to say the same? Jason and Trisha have broken up and feuded before. Back in June, they broke up and made a ton of money on a series of videos about each other, only to get back together a few weeks later. So guys, it's really hard to tell if this feud is real or not. Trisha, Jason, and David have all been very quiet on social media recently, and David deleted the vlogs that upset Trisha.
Sometimes I'm scared. She's like, I don't want the drama. That's what I'm saying. Like, I truly don't. And I think I publicly have now said my piece on that, where I'm like, I don't consider Jeffree a close friend because of the stuff I heard. He has reached out and tried to apologize.
If you've been following the channel, then you might have remembered when I spoke about how Jeffree Star said very nasty things to Trisha Paytas about her weight, skin, and substance abuse to her face. But after it was exposed online, Trisha is now stating that Jeffree has apologized privately to her, even though he's staying silent online about all his drama. In a vlog that Trisha uploaded on the 15th, she said that Jeffree Star has, quote, reached out and tried to apologize to her for awful comments he made about her during a group trip they took together in February that caused her to leave the trip early. Saying further in the Jack in the Box mukbang video that, quote, I don't consider Jeffree a close friend because of the stuff I heard. He's reached out and tried to apologize and I feel his pain. I can understand it, but I'm not really ready to accept the apology, you know what I mean? Or at least be friends on that level, because it did really hurt. That trip in Vegas, it's like petty, it's really petty. It's not that big of a deal. I just cried when I came home. It was just like, wow, it felt very Mean Girls. She then clarified that she isn't afraid of Jeffree, but she more so just didn't want to get into any drama with him and didn't want to have to deal with all this online. And if you guys remember, I actually did a video on YouTubers afraid of Jeffree Star and I included Trisha. But it's good to hear she's claiming that she's not actually scared of him like I thought she was after she originally defended his comments against her. But the idea that her and Jeffree might not be that good of friends anymore isn't really news, especially because in a video she made defending Shane after Tati uploaded her video, she made a point to not defend Jeffree, saying, quote, those DMs were real to that guy. It was not a good trip, and he just confirmed what I felt on that trip. It was not good, so I'm not defending Jeffree because I don't know Jeffree like I know Shane. And if you didn't hear of any of this drama and are wondering what exactly was said by Jeffree, basically when all the exposing was coming out about Jeffree months back, YouTuber Tab David, who used to be friends with Jeffree, made a video exposing tons of stuff about him. And in that video he included a private DM conversation he had with someone who had been targeted by Jeffree on a Vegas trip, with Tab saying that he heard Jeffree saying terrible things about this person to their face and behind their back. And after people put the pieces together, people realized it was Trisha who Jeffree was talking badly about. With Tab specifically saying, quote, there had been a friend earlier in the night who was in the room who didn't attend the club with us. They had continued to make fun of this person all day, talk about how bad their skin was, body shame them, talk about their weight, talk about their past drug abuse, talk about the recovery, just the most disgusting, horrible things from him and his crew. Then in the DM conversation, you can clearly see that Trisha says that she left the trip early because of these comments. And she will not speak out about it because Trisha feared that she would be cancelled by Jeffree's fans at that time. Then after all this came out, Trisha initially defended Jeffree, but after Trisha got wind there was voice memos where he was speaking badly about her on other occasions, she went off on Twitter seemingly against him. But I guess it seems like things are amicable between them now, and we now know that Jeffree is obviously keeping up with everything said about him online while he's on his kind of social media hiatus of sorts.
Trisha Paytas, a veteran YouTuber who is no stranger to controversy, has been called out by another YouTuber, Nickocado Avocado, for not only ghosting him after he flew out to LA from Colombia to do a collab with her, but also because she lied about it online and said that he was essentially a creepy stalker that made her uncomfortable. I don't like cancel culture. I'm not a supporter of dragging someone without evidence, but when there is evidence, undeniable evidence, it's kind of hard to not form an opinion about someone. Here's what we know about the Trisha Paytas situation so far. Once again, I encourage you to keep an open mind and form your own opinion, but I don't encourage you to send hate to other people when you don't know what really happened. So Trisha Paytas was recently exposed by another YouTuber called Nickocado Avocado, who has 1.4 million subscribers. In his video exposing Trisha Paytas with receipts, Nickocado Avocado does just that. Nick is one of Trisha's most loyal fans. He's been her fan for years. He's a violinist who created this absolutely beautiful instrumental rendition of Trisha's song Warrior and uploaded it to YouTube in 2016. Trisha saw this video and commented because she was actually holding a contest at the time called Warrior Trisha Paytas Cover Contest. Nick's video took 100 hours to make, from the writing of the song to the editing of the video. She said in the comments, "I can't even speak on how I'm feeling right now. This is so touching. I truly can't articulate words. I have loved you for so long as a fan, and this blew my mind when I saw it in the subscriptions. We need to get together in person. There is something about you, and then this, I'm speechless. Truly, I can't think of the right words to say." Such a nice comment. Nick must have been over the moon with happiness. I mean, one of his favorite YouTubers wanted to meet him. It's like, oh my god, fangirl. At the time, Nick had also admitted that he had decided to stop being a vegan, so he was getting a lot of backlash for that and losing subscribers. So Trisha's comment really meant a lot to him. Then Trisha sends this tweet to Nick 2 years ago, several months after he made the video. So in that 2 years, at no point did Nick push the situation to make her feel uncomfortable because she's the one that reached out to him. She would not have done that if she felt as though Nick was some sort of like stalker. Her tweet said, "Babe, where do you live? We need to do a collab, my love, ASAP. Your cover brought me to tears. DM me." So Nick DMs Trisha and they make plans to meet up in LA. Nick shared these texts in his Exposed video. "Hell yeah, I'm actually pretty free next week. What day are you thinking?" Nick responds with, "I'm free all next week too. I just do YouTube, that's it, so super flexible. You can pick the day. I'm looking at flights now. By the way, I've never been to California before." He texts again in about an hour and says the best flight deal is Tuesday the 17th. Trisha responds, "I can make that work. Should we do a 2-day shoot? Like maybe vegan food on mine with you and non-vegan stuff on yours? Or just stuff ourselves in one sitting?" So Nick then goes to LA from Colombia, but when he gets there, she isn't responding to any of his messages. He said, "I'm here in LA. I'm here in Hollywood. I brought you gifts, LOL. I hope you get back to me." 2 days go by and he texts her once a day asking if everything is okay. Trisha doesn't respond and never responds. She ghosts him. So Nick's fans start asking Trisha what is going on and why she didn't end up doing the collab. I mean, everybody knew that it was happening by now because she said she was gonna do it publicly. Then Trisha went on multiple live streams and said,
I was never going, like, I don't know, I was never going to, I wasn't gonna like collab, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know where that came from.
Nickocado Avocado Jado, or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, they were all like, Trisha ghosted him. I was like, Trisha didn't even know that he was coming.
No idea.
So on these live streams, Trisha dragged him and said that he was an obsessed fan. She said she didn't care for his videos or his personality, and she said that she had never heard of him other than his cover video, directly contradicting herself, lying about their past conversations and interactions. There's literally videos of her doing this and plenty of screenshots to back it up. Trisha also edited his messages, cropped out her replies, and posted them on the internet. Nick then started getting hate messages from people. 2 years later, Nick came out with his video exposing Trisha Paytas.
I'm gonna bring you here to show you. This is really her account, Trisha Paytas. And I'm gonna show you that these can't be edited. Like, this is what she said something. If I press it, I can delete the message, but I can't make a message appear, you know what I mean? I can't swipe it one way or the other. They're here. This is really her.
Trisha responds with her own video, "I'm cancelled again." Uploaded May 13th, 2019, she deflects blame and doesn't apologize.
Okay, here we go. Here's the owning all this and I'm probably, the majority of you won't like this, but
I mean, everyone's like, you're ignoring it, you're deflecting. First and foremost, I am not deflecting.
So this story is still unfolding. The difference between this situation and the situation with James Charles is that people are jumping on drama that has nothing to do with them in that James Charles situation. James Charles and Tati Westbrook's friendship issues are between them, and it should have stayed that way. But Trisha Paytas' treatment of a fan, to me, is inexcusable. I should also point out that she didn't apologize the way James Charles did. She deflected blame and made Nick out to be this stalker. So to examine the other side of this situation, I'm going to share some of my own personal experiences to maybe help you understand a little better. So I'm not a huge YouTuber, and I don't pretend to be. I don't have fans making covers of my songs, but what I do have sometimes is fans constantly hitting me up in DMs. I want to show how much I care and appreciate these messages, so I do try to reply, but on occasion I have found that if I give an inch, fans take it too far, and then when I cut off that line of communication, they lash out at me. I'll give you an example, okay? I had a fan once send me an email and say a bunch of really nice things about me, so I responded and thanked him for taking the time to do that. We had a bit of a conversation and then I stopped responding. After some time, he decided to, out of the blue, criticize me on Twitter for some reason that I honestly can't remember. So I blocked him completely within my rights. He saw that I blocked him, because you can see that on Twitter, and then proceeded to send me an email with all this like nasty stuff, threatening me and telling me that he was going to talk badly about me to people he knew in the film industry. This particular instance is why I don't respond to fans all the time, especially when they are getting a little bit too friendly. Maybe Nick didn't share other interactions with Trisha that could have been interpreted to her as stalkerish. But Trisha Paytas promised him that she would meet up with him. She led him on, he then had expectations. And even if you are uncomfortable with the situation with a fan, you could easily just say that you're just too busy. Maybe she could have reimbursed him for the flight. Maybe she could have sent him some merch, I don't know. Just respond, you know? It sucks being ghosted, it sucks letting your mind wander thinking that you did something wrong and not getting an explanation or closure, especially when you're flying all the way to LA from Colombia. Trisha did respond to the fact that she didn't text him back in her video, saying that she's had bad experiences, where people have lashed out at her for canceling on a collab. She said things come up, and you should be your #1 priority. She did not, however, apologize for what she did. 45-minute video, and she never apologized. Even when she was called out by Keemstar of Drama Alert, she said, LOL, Keem, where my 45-minute interview at? I didn't DM someone back, bring out the torches. If Trisha did feel uncomfortable at any point by Nick's messages, she could have shared those messages in her response video. I feel like that was her opportunity to do that. I should also point out that Nick isn't just some fan. He's another YouTuber with a pretty sizable following of his own. But still, Trisha is not taking responsibility. Trisha tweeted this, "Say this one more time and I'm on to the next. You do not owe anyone a collab or visit or DM back. If you feel uncomfortable or change your mind, you have every right to protect yourself, your emotional state, and your energy, period." At the time of this recording, Trisha Paytas has lost 13,000 subscribers because of this, and this number is growing. This is also because of an accumulation of things. A video made by Ethan of H3H3 Productions specifically, where he exposed Trisha for her fake online Instagram persona, where she edits photos to appear more beautiful than she is in real life. That is like, I don't know, I feel like we all do that. I don't feel like that's a good enough reason to cancel somebody. But she does owe this fan an explanation. I will add that Trisha is going through therapy right now, so maybe she's going through some personal problems and just can't give much of herself to anyone else. That I can understand, but I'm not sure I would have handled this situation in this way if I were Trisha. So Trisha Paytas posted an Instagram video that showed her and Aaron Carter making out in a car, with the caption, @Aaron Carter, ring emoji. Bro, what is even happening here? Trisha Paytas? Aaron Carter? Why do I feel like that's weird? So if you guys are too young to know who Aaron Carter is, just know that he was basically like the Justin Bieber of 2005. Aaron Carter was a huge deal, okay? News of the romance first went viral on Sunday when 31-year-old Trisha Paytas posted this Instagram video to her feed. But this wasn't the only video. The pair were hanging out and posting videos of themselves together all day, including another video that shows Aaron asleep on Trisha. Aaron Carter also went on Instagram Live and he posted a video that shows them kissing in a car and driving around. So it's clear that both of them wanted to stir up a little bit of trouble by posting these videos. But it seems like Aaron might have told Trisha to take the videos down. maybe he had some like second thoughts or something. Cause a few hours later, Trisha deleted the smooch video. Aaron also went on Twitter to clarify with, "I'm single, guys. For the time being, I'm not rushing into anything." He followed up with, "I just got out of a relationship. That isn't mature to move on too fast, period. I have to learn from my mistakes." I mean, listen, Aaron, why you gotta be posting these cute pics and vids if you're single? Seems like he wants to have his cake and eat it too, if you know what I mean. Trisha's the cake. Trisha is the cake in this scenario. Just last month, Aaron Carter broke up with Lena Valentina after 1 year of dating. At the time, Aaron said that he was hoping that that relationship would be the one that lasted forever. But they talked about having kids, but ultimately they couldn't get past their differences and the relationship eventually turned unhealthy. Now here is the tea, okay? There's more tea, yes there's more, obviously. This isn't the first time that Trisha and Aaron Carter have been rumored to be intimate together, and their romance has been quite public in the past. In August, Trisha tweeted, "I hooked up with Aaron Carter 2 nights ago and all I got was an unfollow." Okay, so I guess that means Aaron Carter unfollowed Trisha after they hooked up, cause like, man, that is cold. At the time, Aaron followed up his unfollow by squashing the rumors of romance on Twitter and said, "Single is not a status, it is a word that describes a person who is strong enough to live and enjoy life without depending on others." Whew, that's gotta sting. So both times Trisha wanted the Aaron Carter clout, and both times Aaron made sure everyone knew he was still single. This back and forth between Aaron and Trisha is nothing new. A tweet reply to Trisha also said, "New Trisha fans shocked, not knowing they've been hooking up for years." Trisha also posted a video on Aaron Carter to her channel on August 8th called "The Aaron Carter Situation," where she explains that they first hooked up 3 years ago after Aaron had just broken up with a different girl. But pretty much the only thing I took away from that video is that Aaron Carter has a Beanie Baby collection. Trisha Paytas has been losing subscribers over the last few weeks because one of her longtime friends and fellow YouTuber Nickocado Avocado exposed her in a video for lying about him on public platforms and for bailing on their planned collaboration 2 years ago. But rather than taking responsibility and apologizing for how she treated Nick, Trisha is continuing to drag Nickocado Avocado online. Trisha Paytas. Trisha Paytas. Trisha Paytas. Do you like my song? Trisha Paytas is a veteran YouTuber who has gotten the reputation of being a drama queen. I mean, this woman is literally the most melodramatic person on YouTube. Often her videos involve her breaking down and crying while ranting on her kitchen floor. That being said, Trisha hasn't had an easy life. She's been hurt many times by men. She's still going through a breakup from longtime on again off again boyfriend Jason Nash. Listen, we've all cried on our kitchen floors. Trisha just happens to film it and put it online. Well, Trisha has been losing anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000 subscribers a day for the last couple of weeks. Many YouTubers are calling for Trisha to be cancelled, and that is due to several public feuds, most notably the feud with Ethan Klein of H3H3 Productions, where Ethan called her out for photoshopping her pictures, making her look more attractive than she is in real life. It seems from their public tweets though that Trisha and Ethan are good now, but the drama involving Nickocado Avocado is still ongoing. Damn, that name is gonna get really annoying to say. Let's just call him Nick going forward, shall we? If you haven't seen our previous coverage on this topic, check out our video Trisha Paytas Exposed so you can get up to speed. But essentially, Nick is another YouTuber who's been a fan of Trisha for years. He posted a video recently about his experience with her. It all began when Nick did a violin cover of Trisha's song Warrior. It was part of a cover contest Trisha was hosting, and Trisha saw his video and commented. And she talked about how moved she was, how she watched Nick for years, and she also wanted to do a collab with him. But then after they planned a collab, Nick flew to LA and Trisha ghosted him. She didn't respond to his text, she just sort of left him hanging. So that was 2 years ago, and over the last 2 years, she's talked about Nick multiple times on live streams and in videos, saying that she's never heard of him and that she doesn't care about his videos. Or care for his videos, I should say. So that's kind of where we left this whole thing. Instead of talking about the past information, because believe me, there's a lot of it, and like honestly I'm just like at this point, I'm gonna focus on the new information. Since my last video on this subject, Trisha has been interviewed by Perez Hilton, where she denied photoshopping Nick's DMs to make it seem like he was harassing her. Perez directly asked her if Trisha has apologized to Nick, and Trisha says she's not sorry, and she's not going to apologize for something she's not sorry for. Perez then asks her if she feels as though ghosting someone was rude. She said it wasn't. Trisha argues that people ghost other people because they might have other things going on. Trisha also makes the point that when she reached out to a fan to tell them that she couldn't collab, they became aggressive. Essentially what you can take away from this interview is Trisha continues to believe that Nick DM'd her obsessively and made her uncomfortable. So despite everyone thinking that Trisha should apologize for this issue, she doesn't think that she has to. All of this being said, there are always two sides to every story. I should note that Nickocado Avocado has made 3 videos exposing Trisha Paytas as of right now. The videos are not monetized, so he's not directly profiting from this drama, but when his first video went up, he gained around 100,000 subscribers. I mean, after 3 videos, you are kind of pushing the subject a bit, says the girl that posts 5 videos about a subject for views. I mean, I know pushing subjects when I see pushing subjects, okay? We understand, Nick. Trisha lied and ghosted you, and that's terrible. Nick has every right to defend himself and his character, but I do fully think that Nick is getting something out of this public feud with Trisha, and honestly, I feel like if he knew Trisha, truly, if he is a fan, and a longtime fan, then maybe he should have expected this kind of behavior from her. Hear me out, okay? Trisha is by all accounts a diva. She always has been and always will be. I personally would not take her word for anything, especially if I'm not her close friend. And her behavior basically stems from being in the spotlight for so long and not knowing who to trust, knowing that attention gets her views. So for Nick to fly all the way from LA to Colombia to do a collab with Trisha, that is a pretty big leap of faith for someone you barely know, someone who is as melodramatic as Trisha Paytas. That woman is like a walking soap opera. My issue with Trisha is not that she didn't want to do a collab with Nick, it's how she treated him over the last couple of years. Trisha is the one who publicly bullied Nick online, on public platforms and live streams, saying that he was obsessed with her, pretending she doesn't know him, that she never agreed to meet him, which is a flat out lie.
His weight gain, Nickocado Avocado. Nickocado gaining weight, all these people being fat. I was never going, I don't know. I was never going to.
Trisha knows exactly who Nick is, and she's watched him for years. She publicly said this. She's written him comments on his videos praising him, tweets that have said this exact same thing. In her first video on this subject, Trisha says she never agreed to meet Nick, and it turns out that that was a lie. Nick showed text between the two of them, and she did in fact agree to meet Nick, and they planned to collaborate. It was only after Nick came to LA did she totally blow him off and not respond to any of his messages. Since this whole thing began, Trisha has somewhat explained why she chose to ghost Nickocado Avocado. She shared this tweet which makes Nick out to be this dangerous person that says, "When people saw I would potentially collaborate with him, they sent me scary videos he made like this that seemed aggressive and abusive in nature, so I cut communication. You have every right to stop communication with anyone at any time." The tweet links to a video called "Everything Wrong with Nickocado Avocado." I watched it. Honestly, yeah, some of those clips are a little bit weird and they do present him in a negative light, but it's also like if someone compiled all the clips of Trisha Paytas being melodramatic, she would probably look pretty bad too. I wouldn't necessarily say that Nick is dangerous after watching that video, plus who knows how much of that is staged. All of this being said, if I were Trisha and I had planned to meet up with someone, but before the meetup happened, there were people sending me videos of said person urging me not to meet up with them, I would think twice. I would. Honestly, watching all of this, Trisha feels like that mean girl at school who befriended the less popular kid, and then when her friends talk crap about this less popular kid, she pretends that she doesn't know them and tries to disassociate herself from them. Anyone who's ever been bullied by a girl knows this. I don't know about guys, but girls have definitely done this to me. It happened to me in high school. By the way, I was a loser in high school. Drama kids are always losers. I remember I had befriended this really pretty girl who was new to my school. She had red hair, but after the popular girls decided that they wanted her in their friend group, this girl decided not to be my friend anymore. Who knows what they said behind the scenes? I'll probably never know. It's probably because I farted in class in grade 6 and I'll probably never live that down. Back on topic, I will also take this opportunity to point out Trisha Paytas' relationship with Emilia Fart. If you don't watch Emilia Fart, I highly recommend you do so. She's probably one of the funniest women on YouTube right now. Emilia Fart is a Canadian YouTuber who talks about how much she loves Trisha Paytas. It's kind of like a running joke on her channel. Emilia Fart appears from her videos that she's very much in love with Trisha Paytas. She's gay. Emilia's online persona is, how to put this, a troll, so I'm not really sure how much of that is staged and how much isn't, but many of Emilia's videos involve her publicly professing her love of Trisha. A reasonable person might see this video and be like, okay, that's kind of weird. A little bit weird. But interestingly, Trisha Paytas did a collab with Amelia Fart. So this was posted to Trisha's channel on May 20th. So it's clear that Trisha does do collabs. She does do collabs with smaller YouTubers who appear to be obsessed with her. So why would she go about Nick's collab in this way? Maybe this was Trisha's way of indirectly addressing the claims about how she treats her fans by showing that she does collabs with other YouTubers. She just didn't want to collab with Nick. Trisha posted a new video since, which is called Coming Clean About All My Lies. In this video, instead of coming clean about her lies, she says again that she did nothing wrong and there's no reason to apologize because she's not sorry. Trisha Paytas has announced that she's transgender in her latest video, and people aren't really buying it. I mean, it is Trisha Paytas, right? Her coming out video wasn't well received and Trisha has been forced to respond to a ton of online backlash. Alright, so let's talk about Trisha Paytas and her latest announcement. In her recent video, Trisha announced that she's transgender, female to male, and the reasons she gave are they're kind of confusing, I'm not gonna lie. So first of all, she says she's attracted to other gay men, and she loves glam and voluptuousness. She said, I quote, I identify with men better. People always think there's something wrong with me because I don't have that many girlfriends, but I do love girls. I love their sensitivity and all this stuff like that. That's why I identify as a gay man, because I like guys, but I also identify as a guy. Trisha further explains that she used to be called manly when she was younger and was given a male nickname. She overcompensated for her manliness by trying to be more feminine, and she wore lots of makeup and revealing outfits. Trisha ended her video by saying that she's 1000% transgender, but she also identifies as a woman. Lately, Trisha has been posting photos to her Instagram account dressed up as Zac Efron in High School Musical. Essentially, she's doing drag. Now, Trisha is known online for her trolling videos, which is why a lot of people don't believe this announcement. Boy who cried wolf, right? Many people are saying that this is Trisha's latest ploy to be relevant again. And many members of the LGBTQ community are not amused by Trisha's announcement. Here's a tweet: Trisha Paytas when she decides to disrespect the entire LGBTQ community for clout because she wasn't getting enough attention. Fellow YouTuber Steph Sanjati also said that it's tasteless to make light of transgender issues when trans people in the world are suffering. And drag queen Vicky Fox urged her followers to report Trisha Paytas, saying, report this tweet. Using gender identity as clickbait is a privileged act of violence. I don't care what it's actually about. The headline and photo used cannot be serious. Trisha has responded to the criticism she's getting, clarifying that she wasn't joking and it wasn't meant to be funny. She also claims that she's been seeing a gender identity therapist for the past 6 months because she hated who she was since she was 3 years old. Trisha's coming out video has 55,000 dislikes to 12,000 likes at the time of this recording, and that could largely be due to the fact that Trisha has trolled the transgender community in the past. She's also trolled the LGBTQ community many times. She's come out as gay, she's come out as bisexual, but although those announcements were fake, Trisha urges people that this time it's different. What do you guys think? Is this just Trisha trolling for attention, or do you believe her? I honestly don't know. It's so hard to say because this is Trisha Paytas we're talking about. I don't want to outright say that she's lying because maybe she is going through this and people shouldn't be hating on her if she's really struggling with something like this. But if she is doing this for attention, that's kind of like Morgan Adams, a normally very unproblematic YouTuber, is facing backlash right now for posting a collab with Trisha Paytas. Not only that, but people are lashing out at other people who are known to be friends with Trisha Paytas. People like Shane Dawson and Rylan Adams. I've got the tea and I'm gonna spill it. Morgan Adams is often seen in Shane Dawson's videos. She's Rylan Adams' sister. On April 21st this week, she posted a video called I Wore Trisha Paytas' Clothes for a Week. Trisha appears in the video and she styles a bunch of outfits for Morgan to wear throughout the week. Shane and Ryland are also in the video, and the video shows their reactions to Morgan's outfits. But even though this video concept is pretty vanilla, there are a lot of people that are not happy with Morgan's decision to collaborate with Trisha Paytas. Ever since Trisha's DID scandal in March, where she claimed to have dissociative identity disorder and she called another YouTuber crazy, it's safe to say that people are officially done with Trisha Paytas and her ways. She made several false claims about the disorder, and she was accused of mocking people in the DID community. The YouTuber that Trisha called crazy, Chloe Wilkinson, said that the issue drove her to a suicide attempt and she took a prolonged break from social media because of it. So this is some pretty serious stuff. It's clear that Trisha's trolling has gotten out of control and people are finally done with it. And to the YouTube audience, I guess that means that being friends with her and collaborating her means that you're gonna get backlash. In response to all the hate, Morgan Adams posted this on Twitter. From the bottom of my heart, my intention has always been and will always be to make videos to make people laugh and be entertained. I know for a lot of people this video has crossed a line, and I'm truly sorry to anyone who has felt negatively for my actions, and I hear you and see you. I will always do my best to take your feedback and show you that I really do care. And I know mental health is so sensitive and personal to every individual, including me, and I'm sorry for my actions affecting you and will take full responsibility for that and hope to do better for you in the future. Morgan then went on in the same post addressing the claims that she and Trisha were not observing social distancing guidelines, and also the claim that she was deleting comments, which she denied. But this apology wasn't enough, at least for some. Here are a few reactions. Baby, we love you and your content, but I cannot support you just ignoring Trisha's actions and continuing to be friends with a toxic troll. Tired of half-assed notes app apologies. Delete the video you should have never made and are still profiting from. You filmed and edited the whole video at your big age of 22. You should know better. I'm here to say we don't accept this. Trish and you are two very different people. I think the reason people were upset is because they didn't want you, Rylan, or anyone to be involved with someone like her after all she's done to hurt other people. It's not your fault, but please choose the right friends. Next, but you are still friends with Trisha? I usually don't judge people for their friends, but being friends with her is being complicit to transphobia, making fun of mental disorders, the spread of coronavirus misinformation, and so much more. There were also a hefty amount of people who defended Morgan and said that no one has the right to tell her who to be friends with. People need to stop dragging Morgan. She's not responsible for Trisha's actions and she apologized on her behalf. Next, Morgan, it's not your fault what other people do wrong. If you were just being a nice friend and trying to create content. I love you and the comments were out of hand. You explained several times that you filmed before her scandal as well. I love you and you are incredible. Will, I agree that Trisha is problematic, but I think people cross a line when they feel they can dictate who people are friends with. You may not agree, but no one has the authority to tell Morgan who she can associate with. People did this to her with Tila and it was ridiculous. Okay, there's a lot to unpack here. A lot of boxes of tea. Does tea come in boxes? It could if you order it on Amazon. Here's my take on this. If you're a friend of Trisha Paytas, you probably know a side that most other people don't. The side that isn't on social media. The side that isn't the troll. And that side is probably, shocker, likable. After everything that she's said and done, Shane Dawson, Rylan Adams, and Morgan Adams are good people as well. They're good friends with Trisha and they have been for years. Pretty much a given by this point. They understand that she banks on controversy. And maybe they know something that the YouTube audience doesn't. Maybe this collab with Morgan was a way for Trisha to get back into YouTube's good graces, maybe try to make another video that was less problematic. That being said though, I do get where people are coming from. I don't belong to one of the groups of people that Trisha has insulted or made fun of, but I can empathize with how people feel about her. To trivialize mental health and mental disorders and turn them into nothing more than a way to get on the trending page is like, I mean, it's personally not the kind of content that I choose to make. I honestly don't know how Trisha can stomach some of the content that she posts. Like I don't understand it, but yeah, like again, I don't know Trisha personally and I don't know Rylan and Shane and Morgan, and so I don't know anything about their friendship, so I really can't make a judgment on that. As for the people who are friends with Trisha, do I think that they should be criticized for being friends with her or associating with her? Well, I think that Trisha has a long way to go in order to get back in the internet's good graces, and it starts with an apology. I know it kind of sucks to apologize because it just sort of feels like even when you try to be sincere, the internet just doesn't accept your apology. But that apology has to be followed with consistent efforts to be better and be less problematic. And for a long period of time. Remember what happened with PewDiePie? He pretty much could have lost his entire career, but you know, he apologized and then he laid low for a little bit. And then all of a sudden, there was that whole sub to PewDiePie thing and people loved him again.